Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be fun. It is another beautiful day here in Germany and the road trip with my Aston Martin DBS continues in spectacular fashion. Two things that I've been looking forward to experiencing with this, like all new Shmeemobiles. Firstly, we're in Germany, we are right beside the Autobahn. This means some de-restricted sections to put the foot down to see what this is like. But secondly, we are heading today via the Nürburgring. It is time for some laps of the green hell with the DBS, and it might not be the most suited car ever. It's not the most powerful Shmeemobile, it is not the lightest, and I'm not entirely sure how it's going to stack up, but we'll find out later on our way back towards the Shmuseum on a drive that is about 1,005 kilometers from where we started to where we're going. Little over 600 miles or so on the road, stretching the legs as cars like this are built to have done. So let's enjoy this, a run up the Autobahn to the Nürburgring on our way back to the Shmuseum. I must confess that we are setting off just a little bit behind schedule, given we have something like an 11 or 12 hour journey ahead of us in terms of the driving time as we go north from here, up via Nürburg, across touching through the Netherlands, all the way through Belgium, into France, the Eurotunnel to England, and onwards to the Shmuseum. But as the drive out taught us, it's a very suitable car for that kind of grand tour. I'm just a little bit skeptical at the moment what this will be like when we're at the Nordschleife, which is going to add a little bit more time to the day while we're stopped in Nürburg. Anyway, before we get on the move, just quickly, you will notice we have been splatting a lot of bugs on the front of this car. It tends to happen in summer, but thankfully prior to the trip, we did take the DBS to Topaz. It has paint protection film on all of the vulnerable areas, so do not fear, we are looking after that new paint that we have on the car itself. As a car to drive though, it's just a lovely thing. It's very comfortable, it's very soft, so I think it might even be too soft, but it does sound amazing. Talking of sounding amazing, actually the key, I'm driving it today with the crystal key. It's so nice. It's just a lovely thing. Normally I use the spare valet keys, but this is just, I don't know, smart. I felt like using it for this trip. Let's get this started up. You pop the crystal key into the center of the dashboard. We'll get this started, get the drive quickly underway so that we don't waste any more time. But yeah, take a listen to this. Perfect. Right, let's get on the move, get on the way from here onwards to the Autobahn, or via the Autobahn to the Nürburgring. Let's get this journey started. Handbrake off. Right, we're going to go straight out. We're on a lay-by at the side of the Autobahn at the moment. Into gear. Thing with the DBS is it's just over 500 or so horsepower. It sounds glorious as you go up through the revs. A few people always notice the rev counter itself is actually reversed. It goes anti-clockwise, which, if you're not familiar with it, takes a little bit of getting used to. But as we go on out, I know it's going to be a busy day. It is summer after all. But even at slow speeds, how unreal does that sound? Yeah, this is really, really busy today. Lots and lots of people off for their holidays. Right, into third gear. It's just this deep, grumbly V12, and I feel if you were going to drive this car at top speed, if you really put your foot down to get to the high 100 and something miles an hour, it would probably feel a little bit sketchy. It doesn't give you the confidence that some of the more downforce focused new cars do. It's only 11, this car's only 11 years old, but the DBS itself came out 14 years ago, and let's just say it wasn't the latest brand new tech or platform at the time. You know, it was always a little bit a notch behind. But we're cruising at 105 miles an hour, about 170 kilometers an hour. Watching the traffic moving around in front of us. Down into fourth gear, up in the revs. 124 miles an hour, that's 200 kilometers an hour. But even at that speed, it's not really pulling that hard. I'm not sure. Oh, we're going to have a very fast Porsche behind. Do you know what? I'm probably just going to... Oh no, the Mercedes is pulling out first. Is it a Taycan? I think we've got a Taycan in the mirrors. Which reminds me of the similarly very quick trip we did to Germany in my Taycan. What was it? 6 months ago, something like that, a little bit more maybe. A car that creates different challenges on a road trip of this nature. Very different challenges as it cruises by us now. Not going to be enjoying a V12 in there though, are they? I feel a bit smug about that. There we go. I mean, listen to it. Cool sounds. Anyway, let's hopefully get a clearer stretch up ahead somewhere on our route towards the Nürburgring. It's about 3 hours from here. Long old slog, but it'll be fun to make it. After something like an hour where we've had traffic, roadworks, speed limited sections, we finally have a fairly open stretch of Autobahn in front of us. Now, in this car, if on the waterfall stack here I press Sport, I think that basically only does the gearbox and the throttle response. There's a separate button for the suspension control, but with this 6-speed auto, you just kind of leave it in gear, foot down, and let it go up through the revs at 130 miles an hour, so 210 kilometers an hour or so. And I know that I'm spoiled because I drive a lot of very fast cars on a regular basis, but I'm actually kind of disappointed by this. I mean, it's an older car, right? Let's be fair to it. But I'd have liked it to have a little bit more power. It's got a lot of torque. The torque feels amazing. The linear power through the revs, 140 miles an hour. Even that, only 145. I'm definitely way too spoiled when that doesn't feel very fast anymore. But I tell you what, you know, we're on the Autobahn. Traffic is cruising at about 120, 200 kilometers an hour. That's the cruising normal speed. I've got no desire to use the paddles because it's not, you know, a lightning fast shift like in an 812 or an F12 or something. And it's very, very, very calm. I mean, we're not going crazy fast, but it does it in GT style, complete GT style, with that low pitched, or not low pitched, that deep grumble of the V12 that you have behind. Well, engine in front, exhaust behind. Manually drop the gears. Third gear, foot down. Away we go. Jump ahead. I'm not going to pretend it's been a very exciting drive. Honestly, it's really just been very busy and a total cruise. But we are now in the Eifel Mountains. We're actually right beside the Nürburgring at the moment. It runs around across the hill over to the right of me, and in fact we've got the entrance to Brünchen, the famous YouTube corner, is just here. So I'm curious how busy it's actually going to be today. Obviously this little section is fairly busy with cars pulling in and pulling out of the car park area, which is looking heaving, to be honest. That looks super, super packed. Okay. It's a busy weekend day at the Nürburgring. Goodness me, there are a lot of cars there right now. So we actually need to get a full tank of fuel. We're completely out. Yeah, there we go. Fuel light literally just came on while I was talking. So we will go and get that sorted. I think the track, I didn't see any cars, so it might just be that the track's not open at the moment. And then we'll get ourselves lined up, make sure we've got credit on the card and the car's all prepared and all of those good things. And very shortly, on a wonderful day here, it'll be time to head on out. Yeah, I'm not seeing any cars at the moment coming past here. You can see a piece of the track just in front of us. It looks fairly quiet at the moment, but hopefully not for too long. And then we can get out and have some fun. We have a full tank of fuel. I can see the entrance to the Nordschleife. We've got a Supra coming towards us right now. It looks, yeah, red at the moment, so that will hopefully open before too long. In the meantime, we will go park up to get the car all set. Just take a couple of minutes to go do, I think, a fairly gentle lap, but then knowing me, I'll say now it's going to be a gentle lap and I'll end up getting to the Touristenfahrten entrance and I'll be like, yeah, let's go for it. We'll see how it's going to go. It has been a slightly longer wait than anticipated, but the Nürburgring is now back open, and of course it is Touristenfahrten TF, tourist drives, which means it's a public toll road. Road rules do apply. I've got my card topped up, ready for the laps. You can only overtake on the left, watch out for yellow flags and that kind of thing. We've got a little bit of a queue to head on in. I am going to pop the car into sport, although if that only does the gearbox, I might be in manual. We'll decide as we go on out. I'm going to pop dampers into sport as well, because the car is very soft in its regular setting, and obviously popping those into sport is going to significantly improve things. But will it improve them enough? That's what I don't know at this stage. We've got a warm engine, tyre pressures are all correct, we've got a full tank of fuel, possibly only going to do one lap. We do have carbon ceramics, but With the weight of the DBS, I know from my previous Vanquish, even driving up mountain passes, brakes can get very hot very quickly, so I'm going to be delicate with those and not go full on. So just a little bit of a cue following this Austin yellow M4 in front of us, and then I'll take it from there and see what the lap is going to be like. The usual complete mix of cars, from tourists to track spec BMWs to hatchbacks. It is sunny, sunglasses will definitely need to be on. Following out after these guys, we've got a whole little crew rolling together. Thank you to the E92. Okay, off we go. So, DBS style on the Nordschleife. As I've said, rite of passage for all Shmeemobiles. Got a yellow Cayman GT4, 981 behind me. Oh, watch out. Swapping an M2 for a different M2. That looks very, very prepped for purpose. Very prepped for purpose. Okay, it's been about 3 months since I was last here. Let's go through the little chicane, and then we are out and on our way. And this is where it's torquey, but you have to wait for the power. It's about 200 kilometers an hour through the compression at Tiergarten. Eyes on the mirrors. Just going to ease into things a little bit while I work out exactly what I'm doing again. I've got a very, very fast BMW behind me, so I'm going to keep out of his way, keep off to the right, let him go through. As we go around where it separates, straight ahead there would be the Grand Prix circuit. Up this way we've got Sabine Schmidt's Curve, the recently named corner as we start the Hudson back section. Tell you what, the stiffer dampers are a massive step up versus what I was expecting from this, but it does feel much more like heavy GT than track toy. I'm not going to lie, in a very big way. But it's quite quiet. No unusual noises, a little bit of tyre squeal out of it already. Where I'd like just a little bit more power from this thing as we go around. Get ready to put the foot down through here. Got quite a few cars approaching from behind. Gonna watch out here because I'm not sure we have a lot of downforce, and some of these higher speed sections you'd certainly want it to be sticking a little bit more than we're probably going to be able to, but that M3 is actually behind me at the moment. As we have probably our fastest section, 140 miles an hour, going to be on the brakes through here. We're bumping around a whole lot through there. Little bit of brake just to keep it composed as we go through the compression. Oh, feeling that in this. Take the curbs on the inside. Not many corners we're going to use the curbs, just the more gentle ones. Some of the curves here can be really quite aggressive. I quite enjoy driving a car sometimes that's just a touch slower. Gives you a little bit more time to take in the Nordschleife than some of the supercar things. As we hurtle through here, having let the E92 through, something very fast approaching behind. Some Megane Trophy, perfectly set up for here. Away we go. Oh, it does sound good when you rev it out. Just enjoying that V12. As we Coming to Bergwerk, slow corner, Porsche right behind me. There we go, up the hill. I'm going to let him go through actually. Gentle lift, keep to the right, let the faster cars go through. We are approaching Staalstrecke, corner before the carousel. The car is definitely getting warm because I can feel it through my feet. We're coming up towards the famous carousel. Leave a little gap for some nice photos. Drop in here, take it easy. Shout out to the photographers from Racetracker, always shooting the laps of drivers here on the Nordschleife. Traction kicking in there. That's where the SF90 amazed me, but coming out of the carousel, the way it gets back on the power with no loss of traction, no delay, it's just mega. One thing that's amusing me with this is it's not very dramatic. I mean, we are at a fairly decent pace here. I'm not completely grannying it around, but it doesn't feel wild and crazy. So we go through Wipperman. It could certainly sorry, I lost my train of thought as we come to Brünchen. Gosh, that really is busy. Using a lot of third gear and the torque from it here. Use the exit space. Third gear is about all you need. Traction is saying no though, but I've got it fully on at the moment. So go over the jump, big heavy car. Over the next jump. Gosh. You know what, with a very, very busy part of track ahead of us, coming to the last couple of corners and knowing that we want to make the drive home without this thing overheating, let's take it easy in from here past the Mini with the roof down. What a way to do a ring lap. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Last little section, little carousel. Even then, traction lighting up as we come up towards Galgenkopf. Final corner of the Nürburgring. And around we come towards the Dottinger Höhe and the end of the lap. Eventually under the gantry. And yeah, another Shmeemobile has lapped the Nürburgring, the famous green hell. Not the quickest of laps, not the most capable of cars, I'm not gonna lie. It's not a car I would feel particularly inclined to take around again. Sometimes I get surprised, like the GTC4 Lusso, for example, was fabulous, and I would very much enjoy doing a few more laps of that. But in here, just a case of taking it easy, nice and chill, cruise along, and we'll make it back towards base. Go from there. The entire process is reversed. We've got our luggage back, tyres are reinflated, and we've got 4 hours and 18 minutes according to Waze from here to the Eurotunnel check-in. So let's get this straight underway because it's a later evening than we originally planned. As I said earlier, we set off so late, and then the ring being closed for a while extended things a touch more. But now we go back into leisurely Grand Tourer wafting mode. Which way are we heading? We're heading left out of here to get the journey basically underway again. Continue from here through whichever countries the route decides to take us onwards back towards the Shmeemuseum to get this car home safely, having covered, I suppose, a few different things in one day really, but always an absolute pleasure to stop here at the Nürburgring and to tick that off for one more Shmeemobile. It's always just an amazing place to be back here as we depart down the Nürburgring Boulevard, and we have an Aventador just parked up there at the moment underneath the famous Nürburgring sign. Anyway, we will... Oh, what else do we have here? Aventador, 911 AMG GT, Performante, Gallardo. Nice, not a bad little lineup of cars right there. We've got a Lotus behind us also. Anyway, onwards, we've got a big old drive ahead of us. We'll try and do this in one hit, all the way to the Eurotunnel. We've basically skipped everything up to this point, where we're arriving at the Tunnel sous la Manche in the sunset. Bright sun right in front of us. Tunnel sous la Manche, the tunnel underneath the English Channel. The Eurotunnel, it's been, what, 4.5 hours? We had about a 20-minute stop along the way. Fuel, some snacks, that kind of stuff. And I think we're going to be just in time for basically the last train of the night, which is actually slightly concerning. But I guess it isn't if we make it. Just fingers crossed we do make it. I can't see any reason why there should be hold-ups here. But this is the exit that takes us around to go join the passport control queue and all of that stuff to get the Eurotunnel back home. It has been a very short and very sweet adventure, and it's a lovely day really to have wrapped it up. I mean, this is really quite something. As we come around this way, it looks pretty deserted here, so yeah, fingers crossed it's all going to be smooth and easy, and it will just be a matter of moments until we're boarding onto a train to get back to the UK, where we'll then decide if we're going to go to the Shmeemuseum or if we'll just cut some corners and go straight home, because that might be a little bit easier. Anyway, let's see how this whole process goes. We're heading down to board. We're not sure if we're going to be on the back of a train that's just finishing or on the front of the next one. I hope we're squeezing onto the back of one, which will mean we get a faster crossing. So I've just been kind of go, go, go in the hope. And they're going to wave us straight in, perhaps? Yes, straight in indeed. So fingers crossed. This is the back of one. No, we're going all the way to the front, which has its pros and cons. I haven't been in the very front car for a while. That's going to be quite cool. It means we get off super speedily at the other end. And then I think we're probably, considering how much later it is than planned, going to be heading straight home as opposed to the Shmeemuseum tonight, because yeah, it's just been a long one and it would be even longer, and it'd be best to avoid that right now. We've got the thumbs up. It is time to go into gear, park brake off, out we head. It's very, very stuffy in there. Thank you. Perfect. We're in England. So we've got about, well, 2 hours into London, or something like that. Nice and gently does it. Let's go. And just like that, we are parked up. I don't actually think I've filmed a video here for a while, but the DBS has made it safely back home. It is gone midnight. It was a very, very long drive. We left about 14, 15 hours ago, plus of course the time that we were at the Nürburgring waiting for it to open back up. I tell you what, with the DBS though, I'm not as enamored by it as I have been after a long drive in, say, the GTC4 Lusso. I think the car is, for somebody a little bit older than I am, if I can say, it's a very gentle, laid-back driving experience. Sometimes that's what you want, but I tend to like something that's more lively, more get up and go. Normally speaking, I do think it's a stunning looking car, especially in this colour. I've spoken about that far too much. It just now needs to go for a major clean-up. The front is completely splattered with bugs. But what a day. We kicked off with the Autobahn, we then had a lap of the Nürburgring, we've then had the road trip back home to bring the car back to base, all in one. I think that was just over 1,000 kilometers today, 600 and something miles in one day, including the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and I'm totally wiped out. So let's leave it there for now, get the car back to the Shmeemuseum after it's had a full clean up, and take it from there. So thank you very much for joining this very spontaneous, very quick, effectively overnight journey with the DBS to Germany and back. That's it for now though. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.